Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Coach to Coach podcast. And this episode, we're going to be going through the different stages of growing and scaling a coaching company. It's so important that as you grow and scale your coaching business, you recognize where your challenges are up front so that way you can start to be proactive about them so you don't hit a plateau in growing your company. And there are three main stages which we're going to go through. I call it basically the struggle, the sustain, and the thrive. In which a lot of coaches get into this place where they're like, ooh, I don't really know what the next thing is that I have to do in order for me to get to the next level. Now, I will say this, all of these levels that I'm going to be talking about through business, they have nothing to do with how much you're making financially. It's really about what the main problem or challenge is that you're facing in the moment. So whether you're someone in our C2C, people making $22,000 to $30,000 a month, or you're someone who's just starting in a business and you're making that $5,000 to $10,000 a month in reoccurring and you're trying to get it more consistent, every single one of the challenges in these three stages can apply to anyone at any stage. So it's important to understand kind of what I mean by these stages. These stages are not about kind of a financial barrier or financial plateau. It's really a business plateau that's preventing you from getting to the next level. So we're going to start at the first stage, and the stage is going to be struggle. This is basically where business owners and coaches are having a hard time with the initial implementation, or they're having a hard time making something work. And for coaches, a lot of this could be portions of marketing, could be portions of getting leads consistently, portions of maybe closing people that are in front of you. But everything that is involved in the struggle phase of business is where you don't really have a system, you don't really have a process, you also don't really know what works or what should work, or maybe you're still trying to define what works for you. And that's okay, because as business owners, we are going to be trying a lot of things. For example, you might sell a one-on-one program and realize, hey, I don't want to be working one-on-one. It takes too much time. So then you're trying to change your systems to try and promote a group coaching offer. Or you might go and attract leads one way, but then find that in attracting leads, you're like, oh, I'm actually not getting the person that really lights me up to work with. So I'm going to start to change my lead process. So there's a lot of trial and error that goes into the initial stage, which is the struggle stage. And for coaches struggle at 5 levels when it comes to initially starting up their coaching business. The first is marketing. The second is leads. The third is closing those leads. The fourth is creating content. And then the fifth is delivering to those clients. So I'm going to break down each and every one and why they exist in the struggle phase. And then I'll go through, of course, some of the solutions, or what the solution is for that specific thing. So that way you can start to recognize what the next thing that you have to do if you're in this case. Okay. So from a struggle perspective, let's talk marketing. When you build an initial coaching company, marketing tends to be the number one challenge. Marketing and leads, which is the next one I'm going to talk about, are basically number one and number two, because we cannot coach anyone. We cannot see if our programs work. We cannot see if our processes are working well if we don't have anyone front end actually going through for us to be able to deliver the program and to try our processes with. So a lot of coaches don't have problems with coaching because that's what you've been trained to do. That's what you've been certified for. I'm sure you're showing up every day with your one-on-one clients and you're acting and operating as a phenomenal coach. But the problem is this: when you're building a coaching business, you need to be able to market every single day consistently in order for you to actually get people in your programs. And I've talked about this, talking about fast launch, talking about building a value stack funnel. Every single one of these things comes down to drawing people in so that way you can promote the next offer or the next program. Because in having that, you're having people join regularly week over week. You're having people to actually express interest in the program. And then you'll be able to see whether or not these people are good quality leads or if they're poor quality leads. Now, the second thing is, in fact, leads. Sometimes you can market, you can talk about programs, you can promote your offer every day, but you may not be getting the right leads, or you may not be getting any leads at all. And the large challenge in the lead part of building a business is attracting the right person who's actually going to be fired up, ready, and willing to join your program. Now, let's say you've done the marketing well and you've done leads well and leads are coming in consistently. The next stage would be closing. It's not enough to just get those leads. You have to actually get these people to sign up for your program. So whether you're doing a group closing or whether you're doing a discovery call, which is a consultation that you're providing value and then you're kind of pitching your program afterwards. If your leads aren't closing, if they're not signing up for your program at the end of the call, then it could be a closing issue that you're struggling with, where maybe you're not objection handling correctly, or maybe you're having a hard time actually pitching at the end because it's not something that you're used to as a coach. Now, in order for marketing, leads, and closing to go smoothly and to work, they rely on a fourth challenge, which is in the struggle section, which is content. Your content dictates everything from who sees your program, who gets excited to work with you, how your clients buy, as well as what objections they bring to the table. So a lot of coaches, even if they do market the program well or they do get leads regularly, they may not be closing because content might be the thing that's driving a lot of these objections up because they're not being addressed in your feed and in your stories before hopping on these discovery calls. Now, the last thing, there's the fifth piece of this, which is not a lot of issue for coaches, but it is something to be aware of. It's your delivery of your programs. There are some coaches out there who get people into programs and sell them no problem, but can't deliver on the result that they've sold. And so these people don't finish programs and then they leave. So in each area, you have a different type of struggle. You have marketing, which is being inconsistent with your offer or struggling to actually market your program. You have leads, which is you may not be getting a lot of leads in your program, or you might be getting the wrong type of leads. The next is closing. Maybe you're getting these people in front of you, but for some reason, you just can't get them to commit to you or your program. And then, of course, you have content, which is the large aspect of attracting people. And then that final piece is the delivery. These are in the struggle section for three reasons. One, it's about consistency. Two, it's about trial and error. And three, it's about getting really specific with what your offer, your process, and your systems are for you to be able to do it consistently over and over again. You need all three of those things. So from a struggle perspective, if you are someone who is struggling with marketing in your coaching business, what you actively need to work on is promotion. Showing up daily in your stories, making sure that you always have an offer that you're promoting, and creating your content around the offer that you have coming up. So as an example, for this entire past month of August, I've been talking about our fast launch program. This is how to launch and build a value stack funnel system and promote an offer and fill it within 60 days. The reason why I'm doing Fast Launch as a program is because I already have my next promotion up, and I'll share it with you guys now. Our next offer and program is going to be creating client converting content for the people who fill the funnel, but may or may not be getting the right leads. I already know my promotions 90 to about 120 days ahead of time. And so it allows me to show up daily with my marketing because I know who I'm targeting, I know what I'm promoting, and I have a plan. So if you're struggling with marketing, the first thing that you need to do is you want to write down the program that you want to sell. You want to write down the masterclass or the small value stack offer that you want to lead up to that. And you need to be talking about those daily. Share it on your stories. Share it with your clients. Drop it in your emails. so that way you can start to promote on the regular. Because the only way that you can fix the marketing is you have to continuously talk about your programs. If you don't share your programs with people, then big surprise, no one's going to know that you have an offer for them to accept. And so that's why no one's joining your program. So let's say you got the marketing down pat. The next is leads. The biggest way to solve leads, and this also goes into the content piece, is to basically build content that attracts the right person. So this is what I call using client speech in your content. If you were to take your top 10 clients that are working one-on-one with you right now, or you were to go through your client list and you do an interview with them, this is the best way to get this client speech. Do an interview with them and ask them, what was the problem coming to me? What were the challenges that you faced trying to do it by yourself? What was it about the problem that was such a challenge for you? What support did you think that you need? And what was it like through this process? When you ask those questions, you're going to get specific client verbiage where people are going to share with you exactly word for word what you need to be putting into your content. So if someone says, I feel overwhelmed, you're going to use the word overwhelmed. If someone says, I was sick and tired of my monster paws, you're going to use that specific verbiage because that is how they speak. The way that we attract clients and we attract leads is we show up daily in our feed, because remember, we want them to show up daily. We show up daily in our feed and we show them what the possibility of success can look like with us. How we live our lives, how we experience our health, how we experience our relationships. And then in our content, we use their own verbiage to attract them to show that we relate to them. That's going to show them that we know what their problem is on an emotional level, that we know what their problem is at a physical level or an energy level, because we're using the exact same words. And let's say you're at this state now where you're like, well, my clients are kind of giving all over the place verbiage. Then what that tells me is that you're not niched down in your business. So you're trying to attract everyone. And that's why you're getting everything totally different. So from a leads perspective, do those interviews with your clients and then start using their verbiage inside your content to attract more people that are like them. Now, with the leads, this is where when you start doing this content, you then put a value stack offer for them to be able to learn more about your business and get some value for you. I've done trainings on this. And again, if you send me over a DM at Coach Andrew Costa on Instagram, I can send you literally the recording of the live training about this. But selecting a masterclass, a seminar, something in which you can invite them to that solves a specific problem in their process. That way, when they know, like, and trust you and you've given them some value, they're going to be open to whatever offer you go to give them. That is what allows you to get consistent and stable leads through attraction. Now, once you have the leads process down pat, the biggest thing that you're going to find is closing. Closing is a combination of providing the right value up to the consult, but also it's about making sure that you're creating content that talks about what it is for people to buy through you and the commitment levels of other clients through you. Marketing, leads, and closing is all about creating the right type of content. And this content tends to be the main issue with closing. If you have people that say that you need to think about it, that they're not sure and they need to speak with their partner, that they can't decide right now on the call, you're getting non-committal people and you're attracting them because you're not being specific with the type of clients that go through. So as an example, for the people and the business owners who work in our Coach to Coach program, all of these business owners are self-led. They are the ones who make decisions on their business and they take fast action. So when we hop on a call and we unpack all of their business, it's not, oh, am I going to make a decision today? It's what's the best route for me so I can get started ASAP. They know and they show up ready to the call to make that choice, but it's also because I talk about the people who go through this process like that. So when I have business owners who come in front of me, they only come in front of me when they're ready. You know what's so funny? If you use that same line taken out of context, it sounds absolutely terrible, which is why I'm laughing, but that's the whole part of the process, I guess, right? But when they sit in front of me is what I should say. We'll turn the verbiage different. So when they sit in front of me and they're going through and they're unpacking their business, they're already in a ready state because they know they've shown up to a couple of my live trainings before and they recognize exactly what their pinpoint struggle is, and then they want to actively work towards it. So the content, it's not just about using client verbiage to attract people, but it's also about focusing your content on what it's like to buy through you and what it's like to make a commitment to you as a coach. So this is where you can show maybe your best client and what their process was. Maybe they signed up and they paid in full. Maybe they committed for 6 months because they knew it was a long-term process. Don't be afraid to talk about those things because we want to attract more people who are just like the best clients that you have already. Now, the last one in the struggle piece, I won't talk a lot about this one. This is the delivery. And all I got to say is this. As a coach, if you are signing up people into your programs and you are not consistently giving them results, okay? Like our hormone programs had a 92% success rate. 92% success. And success to me is not just did they get the result in the process. It was, did they get the result and 6 months later when I called them for a checkup call, are they still okay? That is the delivery of true results. So if you're not having clients leave your program fully healed with all the results, actually fully happy enough to hop on a client testimonial video, leave you a raving review, and give you 3 to 5 referrals, then you need to absolutely double down or triple down on your delivery because results is everything in a program. It doesn't matter how friendly you are as a coach. If you cannot give someone a result, then there's no reason why they're going to refer to you or why they're going to stay with additional tiers in your program. Okay? That's all I got to say about delivery. Now that we've gone through the struggle process, the next stage in business is to sustain. Once you've figured out marketing, your leads, your closing, your content, your delivery, you're going to have a whole different level of challenges that are in your business. Sustaining reoccurring revenue, keeping clients over a year or 2-year period, having scalable offers that continuously stack and allow other people to come in is going to come down to 2 things: processes and people. So under processes, there are a lot of things that you're going to have to work on actively that might be really clunky or that you might not even have a process for in your business. So the first one is systems to follow up with leads. If you're getting a flow of leads, you need to be able to reach out to 3 leads just like you reach out to 300 leads. Like when we would run a program for our hormone reboot program in my health coaching company, we would get an average of 200 to 300 applicants per month. So if you had 300 applicants get into your business, would you be able to follow up with all 300, or would your follow-up system break it down? Because if you're not able to follow up with your leads, then there's no way that you're going to book them into consults, and there's no way that they're going to be able to sign up. So having a proper follow-up system that is scalable regardless of how many leads you're getting through the door, that is an absolute must to sustaining reoccurring revenue and having a scalable business long-term. Most coaches do not even do follow-up. They don't even message their leads past the initial first contact. But Science and studies have shown that it is 8 to 10 touch points in which someone will interact with you and make that commitment to book a discovery call or to learn more about your program. So the question is, do you do 8 to 10 touch points consistently over the span of the first, 3 to 4 days? Or are you someone who might only do 1 to 2 touch points and then all of a sudden it falls off? Follow-up system is a big one for sustaining. The next one is nurture systems. When you're getting all of these leads and you have a sustainable business making $25,000, $30,000 a month, nurturing long-term leads is really important because someone may not be ready for your program right now, but they might be ready 6 months or 8 months from now. So where a lot of coaches kind of don't put a lot of work is they're like, I only want to work with someone who's ready. And so I'm just going to focus all my marketing, all of my efforts. And this is where people kind of are that transition between the struggle phase and sustain phase is they're marketing to people who are ready now, but they're not doing anything to nurture people who might be ready in the future. And we always want clients waiting in the wind. We always want a wait list of people who are in our DMs and people who are in our email lists to be able to then promote an offer and have someone say yes in a month or 2 months. This is where if you build a nurture system correctly, then everywhere from training to training or from masterclass to masterclass, the email list gets bigger, the value gets better, people become more informed, and then they start to jump on your programs 2 to 3 months down the road. One of the easiest ways to build a nurture system is to just repeatedly do and record all of your masterclasses and live trainings, so that way you can build them over the span of the entire year. If you're doing one a month, that's 12 live trainings. And you could do those live trainings and put 3 to 4 emails talking about those live trainings, and now you have an entire nurture system and sequence. And it's that easy for you to be able to implement it. You don't have to do any extra work because you're going to do the live trainings anyways. But nurture systems is something that you absolutely need. And it's not enough to do just a once a month email or a twice a year email or to only throw emails out when you have an offer. You need to put value in this nurture. So what I recommend, those 3 to 4 emails, then the recording of the live training offer, and continuously do that over the span of the year. Because you're always going to have people learning from you, and that's what's going to allow them to then put their hand up because they're actually familiar with who you are once you have an offer. One of the other places where you can have a system, and it needs to be something scalable, is a sales system. Think about this. You may not be the only person in your business. Someone else might have to do the selling. Or if you have 300 applicants, you might need to come up with a way to vet all of those people really quick. So either you're only hopping on calls with people who are ready, or maybe you're doing group consultations to get multiple people to put up their hand at the same time. So when it comes down to sales systems, every single person, especially in coach to coach, that goes through our process goes through the same process. They have an application. From the application, we do a 15-minute call so I can make sure that they're a good fit. Once I pre-screen them, they either get pushed to, hey, you're not ready yet, but here's something for you to take a look at, or we hop onto a business assessment call or a discovery call in which I'm going all in on your business and we're looking what needs to be fixed or what needs to be tweaked for you to scale to the next level. At that point, once we go through that process, someone makes a commitment and they say, okay, cool, Andrew, I want to be a part of your program. That's amazing. I have a contract. I have an onboarding process. I have a sequence for referrals. So right after the sale, they get plugged into all of those things, and every single coach-to-coach client experiences the exact same system. And the reason why they have to experience sales the same way and they have to experience the onboarding and the referrals the same way is because I want to make sure that everyone is brought in at the same level, so then I can see what needs to work or what I can tweak in my business. Having a sales system is not just, do you have a slide deck in your consult? You need to know what comes up towards the sale, and then also what comes after the sale that leads already to onboarding. In order for you to make a sustainable business, you need to be able to take on and sell 50 people in a week and not have your system break. If you can't do that, then you have a sales system problem. Now, outside of those processes, there's one other process that we need to set up, and that's ongoing marketing. Unlike the initial struggle phase, which is these coaches aren't really promoting their program, to sustain a business, you have to have marketing calendars. You have to have specific offers that you're running at specific times. You have to have seasonal draws. You also have to have different seminars or masterclasses that are going to scale and build onto each other. So what does your ongoing marketing process look like? Do you have a 60 to 90 day calendar? Are you doing things 6 months out? And how are you assessing if this ongoing marketing is working? A sustainable business is one that has a marketing calendar and they know what they're doing at least 90 days ahead of time, especially for coaching. And it's not just about always promoting the same offer, because the offer is going to get old. It's going to get stale, right? If we only have one program and we're always talking about that program, you make it seem like that program is always available, and there's actually no sense of urgency, even though there's urgency for you to get more people in that program. So ongoing marketing is also about changing up the offer and knowing how long you have to promote that offer. For an example, I gave myself 1 month to promote our fast launch program, and that's the program where we help these coaches scale and sell and promote an offer within 60 days. I knew that all I needed was 1 month because I already had people coming off of my live trainings and my master classes, and I had used that as the value stack to be able to build into this fast launch program. So people were coming in and registering, so I didn't have to do a larger lead up to promote this program. But if it's a program that's new, or if it's something that's maybe it's a small lead up program to a bigger program, then you might need to adjust your time frames. So it's important you have a marketing calendar to do that. Now, that's all the process as part of sustaining. Having a follow-up system, having a nurture system, having a sales system, and having ongoing marketing as a system as well. Once you've nailed down the processes, ultimately, sustainability in a business comes down to people. Ascension-based content and community develop. What gets you past that 25,000 to 30K months, what gets you past the first 100 people in your programs or the first 50 one-on-one clients that you have, is you need to develop and build a community. And this means that you're going to have to make a totally different type of a content, and the content is ascension-based content. This is content talking about what the experience is like in your community, what the culture is like in your community, as well as starting up a group coaching program that's going to be scalable and referable, because people will stay in group coaching programs 2 to 3 years like they did in our hormone programs, whereas one-on-one, they might be working with you only for 4 to 6 months. So having a spot where people can stay in your containers and continue to learn from you, and now changing and adding in an additional piece to your content called ascension-based content to teach them how to use that community, that's what's going to then grow a sustainable business and start to build that reoccurring revenue month over month. This is about now, it's not about how do I find the right people. You're already finding the right people. Sustainability is how do I get these people to stay longer, and how do I optimize what my systems are so that way I can max the amount of leads I'm getting, I can max the amount of people in my systems, I can get the most amount of people to commit, and I can get a fire group of people who are referring week over week. Now, the last level of business is thriving. Once you're past the struggle, once you're past business sustainability, you're going to get into the thrive stage. There are totally different layers from a thrive stage of problems when it comes down to sustaining. The business owners who are in Thrive, the coaches that I'm working with, and I'm working with a few one-on-one that are in the Thrive stage, their challenges are about tripling and quadrupling their growth, not about how do I get 1 to 2%. So there are a couple of problems, and the problems really come down to basically 3 areas: mindset, culture, and community. And let me show you and talk to you about where the problems are. So from a problem perspective, from a mindset, where a lot of coaches get stuck is they feel like they've hit a plateau in their business and they're like, I can't take on any more people. And so where the conversation needs to go is helping them go through their money mindset, recognizing that they can continuously increase their price year over year, recognizing that they can get older clients who are on lower level price points to get to higher level price points by just asking them, and having them understand that they can actually maximize by charging more and recognizing their value. Recognizing and having a good money mindset is really important, because a lot of coaches feel that there's a financial cap to what they can charge when there is no cap. It does not matter if you're doing health coaching or training, or if you've got a practice, you can charge whatever you want because it's based on the value of the transformation. And a great example of this is this. If someone was on their deathbed, let's say they died 100, and you showed up and you were like, hey, listen, I can give you 7 more years. What would the price be on those 7 years? People would pay 30, 40, 50, 300,000, $1 million for those 7 years. So the question becomes, from a money mindset, does the person in fact believe in the program and the process that they have? And do they believe that they are worth more money? And the money mindset is a tricky one because it doesn't involve actually changing anything but your price. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, because just like if you've never been someone who's charged $10,000 for a program, it's really scary to do that. There's a lot of fear that's behind that. But in thriving, you need to be able to charge more, of course, to be able to scale. Outside of charging more, there's a large part of developing a team. It is not enough for you to build a sustainable business with just you or with you and a virtual admin. You've got to take it to the next level now, and this is about team development. Who is doing your sales call? Who is doing your admin work? Do you have an assistant coach? Is there anyone that you're using to do screen calls or to do the lead nurture, so that way you can focus on creating your content and showing up as a coach? It doesn't matter which part of that process that you're putting team members to, but ultimately it's about scaling a team of people who are going to add value in a monetary form. So people that are going to make you money through this process, but also people who are going to alleviate the amount of work you're doing in your business. So then you can start to work on your business. Because if you're still working in it at the thrival point, then guess what? It's because you don't have the right team around you, or you think that you're trying to do it all yourself. Now, team development comes from a couple of things. It comes from, of course, finding the right people, but it also comes from creating a culture. In my experience, a lot of the coaches who build successful coaching businesses in the Thrive state use their own client-based communities to find their team members. It's about hiring the people who have committed to your culture, who have committed to your community for 3 to 4 years. These are the people who always show up to the group coaching calls, the people who are always fired up about your next offer, who share it, who refer all the time. These people would be the best people to help you and your team. And you know what? They would probably be willing to do it at a lower pay scale than it would be for you to hire someone outside. So the team development is also about creating a culture of a company that grows outside of just you. So this is where now we need to talk about brand recognition. To thrive, it can't just be you. And I've done this early outside of Coach to Coach. I always talk about Coach to Coach as the company. I don't talk about Work With Me, Andrew Costa. Because although I am the coach in Coach to Coach, as this part of our division scales, I will start to build a team. And that culture means that Coach to Coach is the company you want to work with, not Andrew Costa is the person you want to work with. Understanding that completely reframes your culture and allows you to start to scale and add people on your team that your clients are going to trust. Now, with this team development, you're also going to have to take a look from a Thrival point of your revenue streams. If you only have one revenue stream and that revenue stream is coaching, you're going to have a big problem because you're always going to have to be finding clients, or you're going to have to add on more team members to build a revenue stream up. And one of the easiest ways that I capped and maximized our revenue streams was I created a supplement company, and we have a company called Clean Basics, in which basically people can be affiliates with, and they can start to offer high quality and clean supplements to their clients. And they get a percentage of the commission when a client buys that. Your clients are going to buy supplements anyways, or they're going to buy workout gear, or they're going to buy something, a kinesthetic tape, or whatever practice you have. It's about, from a revenue stream, looking at where you can add value. And then basically reaching out to your clients and saying to them, hey, here's what we're going to do. We have this other form. We have this other program. We have this other thing. Let's see how we can get you involved in this. And guess what? A lot of clients, when you make recommendations for those things, they're going to want to buy. They're going to be one of the first people to do this process. And that's going to start to increase this more revenue from the same person that you're already working with. Because coaching is just one part of their wallet. They have a wallet for food. They have a wallet for lifestyle. They have a wallet for clothes. So anytime that you can capitalize on a different revenue stream from the same person, you're going to be making more money in your business without having to find a new client. Now, one of the last things from a Thrival perspective is the client journey. When coaches get to the Thrival stage of business, they need to take a look at what the client journey is and how they can capitalize on having people stay in for longer. So we did a phenomenal job with the Vantage program and with the Hormone Reboot program with Fit for All Fitness to keep clients in for an average of about 3 to 3.5 years, where they would go from an 8-week program to a 16-week phase 1 to a 6-month phase 2 to an 8-month phase 3. And then some of them who still wanted to be a part of the group accountability only because they love to be in the group, we then had that option for them to transition. And through that process, people went from program to program to program, excited about the next step, looking forward to the next part of the journey, but also still staying committed to the journey that they've committed to with you as a coach. And because of that, understanding the client journey and knowing where you can help them, you might be able to offer more down the road for them to be able to stay with you longer. And this is where, especially as a coach, you can't just focus on getting one result. You need to look at what is the maximum transformation that I can provide this person, and how do I build this through the client journey. So what I recommend for coaches who are in the Thrival stage is writing down all of the processes from your client starting their journey with you to your client's end journey of whatever success looks like, and see at what points they need your help and at what points you can provide value, because those are two different stages. For example, people coming into our hormone programs, they initially struggled with hormonal imbalance. But then after hormonal imbalance, we help them with weight. And then after weight, we help them with their lifestyle habits. Then after the lifestyle habits, we help them with mindset shift. And then after the mindset shift, we then put them in the accountability so that way they could stay plugged in and stay consistent. All of those things took a different amount of time, and we taught them through that process. Okay? The final stage of Thrival, when you get to the final stage of Thrival, it's about offboarding yourself, how you can make yourself irrelevant in a company. So if you were to go on vacation, are you still making $10,000 a day? Are you still having clients sign up without you having to go on calls? Are you still showing up daily, but it's just where you're creating content and doing stuff you love in your business? Or are you still forced to do things that you don't like in your business because you know that it's something that you have to do? Going from working in your business to offboarding yourself so then you can just be the visionary and you can be the leader, that is the ultimate challenge of Thrive, but it's the most exciting part because it allows you to focus on other things. So this is where I have gotten myself. I took Fit for All Fitness to $1 million business, and now I'm like, listen, that's great, cool, that can be sustainable and run itself. I now want to work on a new passion project, hence why Coach to Coach was born. Coach to Coach was born from me being able to offboard myself, now having an extra 30 hours in my schedule to do something else, so now I can work on a different opportunity. So each one of these stages, struggle, sustain, thrive, you have to ask yourself as a coach, where are you? Are you in the struggle stage right now where you're having a hard time marketing, you're not getting leads consistently, you're having a hard time closing, your content's not lining up with your right people, you're having a hard time delivering results? If you're in the struggle stage, you know what you need to focus on. Or are you in the sustain stage where you're just trying to keep and build a consistent system, something that gives you consistent reoccurring revenue, consistent client base, a consistent process, where you need to develop now your back end? What does your follow-up look like? What does your nurture look like? What does your sales system look like? How are you going to do ongoing marketing? And how are you going to build and develop the community? Once you get to that sustainable point, only then are you at a state of thrive. How do I now 3x and 4x my business so that way I can get to a point where I can build a team and take back my time so I can go do something else with my time, or build other new great things, or be a visionary inside the coaching business too. And in that case, it's working on the money mindset, developing your team, understanding your client journey, and maxing out the amount of revenue streams that you have so you can offboard yourself. Ask yourself, where are you? Struggle, sustain, and thrive. Either way through this process, it's so interesting because I see people at all stages. The majority of people in Coach to Coach are at the sustainable stage. They're looking to set up their systems so that way they can keep the reoccurring revenue flowing, and they can then get to a spot where they can start to build out their team. That's kind of what the sustainable looks like. It's processes, and it's making sure you've got the community of people. But there are also people at the start of the journey, for example, like our Fast Launch program, who are struggling to create a value stack funnel to bring in leads and to market their program. So in that case, if you're in the struggle stage, Fast Launch program might be for you. That might be the thing that helps you fill and understand how to build a funnel so that way you can get your programs filled in 60 days. Amazing. Then you know that it's starting August 24th, which is, holy cow, I think it's in like 4 days the program is starting. It's the best opportunity for you to be able to get in and walk out of the struggle and actually have a system for that. And that's the best part, is we build the system for that. Or if you're like, hey, look, I've already got a funnel system. I already have my marketing down pat, but it's clunky. Shit is breaking. Some months I have 15 consults. Other months I have 4 consults. Then in that case, this is where you need to be in the Coach to Coach program, where every single week we are working on scalability. We're working on a consistent system so that way you can get a predictable result in your business. You can get reoccurring revenue that continues to build month over month, and you can be at a state where you're like, I actually have a business. I'm not just doing shit fly by night to try to make stuff work. So all of this as the process. And of course, if you're in the Thrive stage, this is where the most amazing opportunity is. A lot of the coaches and business owners in the Thrive stage, this is where they work with me one-on-one. where it's like, hey, look, I'm struggling to get past 3 million a year. I want to be able to start charging my clients $15,000, $20,000. How do we do that? How do we provide that value? How do I find the right teammates to help scale? This is where working one-on-one is amazing, because we can unpack all of that stuff. So I know that this was a very, very big training, but it is a fire training because it helps understand where you are and what you need to work on. So go take action, go implement. That's the best way to work through these things. And of course, if you need any support or you're having any challenges in your business, then great, reach out to me. We can see where you are and what program is the best fit for you, and then we can get you signed up. So thanks guys for watching, and stay tuned for another video. Catch you later. Bye.